As the pandemic just passed us and we are still at the back ends of it, our mental health has been affected from many angles. I've worked hard to find mental health related authors to bring on this show, not just on a mental health break. And for today's show, we have something that can help those suffering with anxiety and depression. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety disorders are the most common of mental disorders and will affect almost 30% of adults at some point in their lives. Author Wes Woodson, the guest we have on today's show, he has written, I Have Anxiety, So What? The Unapologetic Guide to Owning Your Anxiety explores mental health, anxiety, and self empowerment for Generation Z, arguably the most anxious and depressed generation. Stay tuned for a one of a kind show. And welcome back to Writing with Authors. I am outside recording again in this beautiful weather here in Tampa. My name is Vincent A. Lancey, and I am a four-time published author with number 5 on the way. You can learn more about me at vincentalancy.com or Vincent A. Lancey on YouTube and social media. You know that I'm excited to bring back another mental health author. I'm doing everything I can to break that stigma, and Wes is doing so too. He dispels the level of shame that exists around talking about anxiety and mental health overall with a narrative that aims to free his generation from striving to be perfect and unapologetically moving towards accepting themselves unshamedly, something we can all improve on. The book educates the reader about surefire ways to take control and includes personal stories about those who have learned to better manage their anxiety and succeed at self-improvement. It's a testament to how authentic storytelling combined with scholarly research comes together to encourage the reader to take back the power from anxiety once and for all. I'm fired up to bring him on. Wes Woodson, thank you for taking the time to join me on this Sunday morning.
Vincent, thank you so much for having me, my man. I am honored to be in the presence of a 4-time, soon to be 5-time author, man. This is ridiculous. I'm extremely honored and excited to be here. So
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you for the kind words, Wes. Would you mind giving our audience a preview to who Wes is before we dive all into book talk?
Oh, that's a deep, loaded, and heavy question. But Wes, I am a professional public speaker, a mental health advocate, and the published author of the book, I Have Anxiety, So What? My mission, just like you, is to unapologetically do everything I can within my power to make mental health conversations a topic of everyday conversation, right? So I do that through my speaking engagements, my book. I have a clothing company. I do anything I really could to really make this stigma go away.
I'm very inspired by everything you're doing. You're ambitious, as you can see, an entrepreneur with his hands and everything. As you can see, I'm wearing my Jets hoodie today as we're outside, something that is good and bad for my mental health. My mental health day each week, as everyone who's been following my journey knows, during football season, it's on Sunday. But
Yes.
the opposite side of that mental health is it usually comes with a loss.
Yeah.
So dealing with the following Monday is just not as fun. But now let's jump into this book. It's on a great subject, something that can help a lot of folks. Let us please learn more about it.
Of course. So I, in the beginning of 2020, right, I was in this abusive, toxic relationship. And I've had anxiety pretty much since I was in 3rd grade. I was diagnosed then with testing anxiety. And I received extra time, extra help in 3rd grade. But I always had this sense of turning to other people to kind of make my anxiety feel less. Right. So I would kind of turn for other people to get validation, to be told I was good enough. I was constantly excessively worried about what other people were thinking about me. But I would always turn to relationships to kind of fulfill that void. So when I was in college, I went to a small entrepreneurship school called Babson College. And in the school, I was involved with this person. We got into a very much of a deep relationship. And again, I was turned to this person for validation. And we had a very dramatic breakup. In fact, this breakup was so bad that after I lost this person, I was kind of like, what do I do? Because this person was the thing I turned to for validation, being told I was good enough. And when I was with this person, in my mind, I thought my anxiety wasn't there. But when I lost this person, my anxiety came back tenfold. And I had the biggest anxiety attack of my life. So much so that I had very much these very deep and dark thoughts about it'd be a lot easier for everyone else if I'm not here anymore. Right. So I was very, very bad. And I ended up getting hospitalized. And when I was in the hospital, I was learning all these things about how to better manage your anxiety. And I was asking myself, why does one have to go to the lowest point of their life to get access to this knowledge? Right. So that's what kind of made the foundation of the book. And I was writing every day, and I just turned it into a book. And then, long story short, the book is now here today in my hand.
I was going to say, I hope you have a copy to hold it up. Would you mind doing so again? Stick around
Yeah.
to the end of the episode to find out exactly where to find this book. I appreciate the courage you're having to share your experiences, your firsthand stories, because that's how we keep everyone going. As you
Right.
know, this is going to be a sneak peek for his show on a mental health break, where one of my goals with that show is to have others share their stories, their experiences, because you never know whose journey will resonate with you most. It could be
Right.
their age, where they're from, what they've been through, you name it. You never know till you give improving your mental health a chance.
Right.
Did you always want to become a published author, maybe on a different topic, or did it just come out of this experience?
It really came out of this experience. But when I think back to it, when I was a kid, I was always writing in a journal, whether that was creative writing. I was actually told in fifth grade that I was a bad writer. I struggled with writing like the open response questions on the standardized tests that you would take. I scored terribly on the SATs for writing English and stuff like that. But I was a very good storyteller. I've
Yeah.
always been telling stories. So this book isn't some medical book you're going to read from a doctor. It's my story mixed with other stories as well, and I combine them to tell a very important message. So I've always been a good storyteller.
There's a lot of people who are going through what you went through, but a lot of people don't get the help they need for many reasons, whether it can be insurance, not having the knowledge or the resources where to find it. So
Mhm.
please do stick around for just a few moments. We'll tell you exactly where to get that book. But on this writing journey, we could all use help, especially on our first book. What are two pieces of advice you could share with our community of writers here, Wes?
to start to start writing, right? Just to start. I think so many authors, we get caught up in this like everything has to be perfect. But when you just start like writing the first chapter, it doesn't have to be the first chapter, maybe just write and see where you go. And the second thing I would do is to remain consistent with that writing, right? Because consistency, constantly doing something over and over and over again, you're going to be successful. And that's why I think you can relate to that, just being consistent.
That's one
In
of the
writing.
main things I talk about, because it's something
Right.
that I personally go through that works for me every
Right.
day, making sure even if I don't want to do some of the tasks, I still go through those tasks, still go through.
Right.
I'm trying to hold myself accountable for the 20 minutes of reading every morning, even when I have the long day, because I never get the book snuck in there. But
Exactly.
as far as staying consistent with writing, when you fell off that horse, if you will, how did you get back on? How did you get back in that mode of, okay, I got to be consistent with this or I won't hit my goals?
So at the time, I was seeing a young lady who is now my today girlfriend. So I was telling her, I was actually speaking about these goals very openly, right? So now she has to hold me accountable, right?
Like
So I'm
that.
saying I want to publish this book at the end of 2021. She's like, all right, like if you fall off that horse, I'm gonna hold you accountable. Can I see a chapter? Can I read like I don't know something you wrote today? So that having a support system allowed me to be consistent, and that was the biggest thing too.
Support system in life in general is so important, either for my accident or now in entrepreneurship. You can't do everything on your own, even
No.
as a solopreneur. Right now, I'm working with somebody else. I can't do it all alone.
Right.
Wes, where can everybody find you to say hello, find your books, everything?
So they can find me on Instagram at Wes Woodson, my name, pretty much anywhere. You can find the book on Amazon.com or Barnes and Nobles. Again, it's called I Have Anxiety. So what? I'll send you the links to include it in your episode. You can also support my mental health hoodie brand. I actually sell hoodies for mental health awareness to promote what I stand for, which is unapologetically talking about mental health openly. So you can find that at www.hiddenhoodies.com. And yeah, that's where you can all find me.
Everyone, be sure to check out his content, check out his book if it's something you're struggling with. Another great mental health book. I'm going to continue to try to find people who are destigmatizing mental health each day. Wes, I love everything you spoke about, your courage to giving back your experiences, to
Thank you.
destigmatizing mental health, all the way to the hoodies. I've done some hoodie creations as well, some dog bandanas. I've done a lot as
Yes.
well. Thank
Yes.
you so much for taking the time once again to join us. And
Thank you.
for everyone viewing on, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Writing with Authors. Stay tuned for next Sunday, where we bring another great author your way to learn from and hear their journey. Have a great day.